What's up, everybody? Welcome to Juice Opinions, volume 8. Man, April 2015 was that long ago, huh? There was a lesson learned back then, and I forgot about it, actually. Kind of moved on and forgot that certain things happened back in April before Splatoon came out. So, basically, if you have a different opinion than somebody, some people can't handle it, or they got to disagree with you, or they got to argue with you and try to change your mind. It's why can't someone just have a different opinion? So this started last week sometime. Alex, Active Sin Gamer, I don't know if it's Active Sin Gamer, it's just Active Sin. He tweeted about a reaction to the clock speeds of the rumor, or not the rumor, the report of the surprise report that the Switch was less powerful than the PS4. Of course, no one ever says it's less powerful than the Xbox One, which is curious. But anyway, we'll talk about the specs and stuff in a minute. So I replied to a tweet about him saying that he didn't care if it wasn't as powerful as the PS4 as long as it had online features equivalent to Xbox Live. And so I replied with, for me, I'm just happy if it's equal to the Wii U, then I'm good. Like, to me, that's all that matters. And I was looking at it as online stability, staying connected, not getting booted constantly, not having a ton of lag constantly. So in my experience with my connection, I've had generally good experience with I got the USB LAN adapter, and I got 30 upload internet speed, so I've never had a problem. Other than Splatoon's first couple weeks, when they didn't have enough servers and everything to handle the load. I've never really had a problem. So then, of course, I got a lot of rebuttals. So I'm just gonna. This is for Alex, OJ, anybody in that camp. I'm just gonna give a statement to start this off. Just give you guys my stance, and you just have to accept it. I mean, there's no arguing. You're not going to change my mind. Just accept it. It's different than your opinion and move on. So I'm going to make this as formal as possible. I, Terminator Juice, am not against a video game console having online features, period. However, online features are not a factor for me when I decide if I should buy a game console or not. So that's the end of the statement. It's just simple. They don't factor in at all for me. So that's all I should have to say. It should, be done. And for my regular subscribers, I know it's not you guys and gals. So yeah, I just wanted to get that out there. I'm going to reference this video to any future debates or interactions where people are trying to, talk me into something or talk me out of something. So yeah, I'm just going to start with that, and then I'm just going to give a brief history, because I know people, they just assume, Nintendo guy, Nintendo podcast, this all he ever knows. He doesn't know good online. Well, I was online gaming in 2000 on the Dreamcast. It wasn't great, but the Sega Network, whatever it was called, worked all right. Xbox Live Gold membership 2003. Had it almost entirely between then and 2013. There was a couple years where I didn't have it. Used all of that, seen the good and bad. I've learned, it by the end of, like 2012, even before then, I think it was like 2011, 2012, I had learned everything I need to know about what I do and what I don't like about online gaming. And that really hasn't changed. And, I got a long story. I had a long story planned about playing Call of Duty back in its peak, and a bunch of social gamers. I found myself, the odd man out, a bunch of, group about 10, just completely social gamers, and just realized I had an epiphany, and kind of moved on, started playing more single player. and didn't renew my Xbox Live membership, and I've just been enjoying gaming so much more since then. I shouldn't have to really give that story. I mean, that's probably good enough summary. And the specifics, I mean, just real quick, I said in the podcast, I'm a big I'll say it this way, I'm really against on-screen notifications. I find them very annoying. Turn them off on my PS4 within the first hour. As soon as I got a trophy and I got a notification about it, I went in and found that you can turn them off. So again, I'm not against the options being there. If they're there for the people that like them, I mean, that's cool as long as I can turn them off. Just like if I was like, oh, I don't want them there, I don't want them there, I want everyone to be screwed. Like if they were there and I couldn't turn them off, I'd be just as upset as the people who want all these online features. And if they weren't there at all as an option, like, it's just, look at it that way. I'll be just as upset as you if they're there and I can't turn off the things I don't like and I have to pay for it, So, but I will say I definitely think the online is going to be better. Nintendo greatly improved their online from the Wii to the Wii U, and I think Mario Kart 8 and Splatoon are great examples of Nintendo really, as far as I'm concerned, right up there with their online. Like I said, early couple weeks of Splatoon, maybe the first 3 weeks, they didn't have enough servers and stuff for the load. That there was this game sold way better than they expected. But since then, I've only been disconnected from Splatoon from a match myself, maybe a handful of times, maybe 6-7 times. I know people with bad Wi-Fi. My nephew and stuff has terrible Wi-Fi. He's way far from his router, and he gets booted all the time. I got a wired connection, so I never really had that problem. But like I said, there's things I don't like. I haven't used game invites since I got a smartphone, basically. And the thing I always ask anyone who's trying to debate me or trying to say, why don't you want this? Why don't you want that? And I ask the same question. I'm like, what do you do when your friends don't have their systems on? Because I find I get out of work at 5:30, and I want a game for a couple hours before some primetime TV shows come on. A lot of people aren't gaming at that time. It's just a fact. I turn on my PS4, I got 5 people on my friends list, and they're almost never on when I'm on. Wii U, I have way more people on my friends list thanks to the Mario Kart 8 tournament. I added a lot of people from that. There's usually some few people on, 4 or 5 people. Internet browser, Netflix, someone's playing, Xenoblade Chronicles X or something, so for the most part, they just don't even have their systems on. So what do you do? That's the question. What do you do when you want to play Super Smash Brothers or Call of Duty or Gears of War or Uncharted 4 multiplayer? What do you do when the people that you mainly play with don't have their systems turned on? What do you do? So what I do and what I've been doing for the last 5 years is get on Twitter, get on Skype. I don't use Skype anymore, but back in the day, Google Hangouts now, Google Plus. Hey, who wants to play Smash? Hey, who wants to play Mario Kart 8? Who wants to play Splatoon? Get some replies. Yeah, I'm thinking 8 o'clock. All right. Let me know when you're getting online. And then, all right, join me. I'll get in a group. You join me, like for Splatoon. Yeah, the answer is you just message them. You message them using using your laptop. You don't need their phone number. You don't need to be friends with them. That, like, I don't know Retro Death other than comments on his videos. He comments on mine. I don't know him personally. I don't have his phone number, but you know how quickly I can get a hold of him? Get on Google Plus, get on Twitter, Google Hangouts. Hey man, what you doing? I know your 10-hour time difference, but you want to play some Splatoon? He can say yes or no. And then it's just quickly decided, hey, I'll start a room, you join me. I'll go get in a match and you join me after. I mean, that's just how it's been, and that's exactly what I need. I don't need any more than that. Xbox Live, it was a party chat, was the only inviting thing that happened, me and my buddy. But I had to call him first, my best friend. I had to call him, hey, you want to play Call of Duty? Yeah, I'm eating. I'll be home in about 45 minutes. I'll call you or text you when I get home. 45 minutes, hour later, usually more. Hey, I'm getting on. I was like, all right, I'm playing right now. Just send me a private chat. And then that it was done. Then we just talk. So like I said in the beginning, I've had Xbox Live. I was gaming online since 2000. I know what I like. I know what I miss. I know what I don't miss. And what I don't miss is just about everything. I mean, I'm not the biggest online gamer. I did have my Call of Duty phase, but I just don't miss that stuff. So to me, it's not a factor at all in any purchase. I bought the PlayStation 4. I have zero intentions of ever getting PlayStation Plus, ever. I guess if it dropped down to like $20, $30, or if I could somehow get it for super cheap, half price or less, I might consider it. And then I might, maybe I'll pick up an online game or play Uncharted 4 online. But I have a system I just bought a month ago, and I have no intentions of ever playing it online. I've had a gaming PC since January 2013. I bought Titanfall in the first 6 months after it came out. I've never had any issues. I never used game invites. I didn't need on-screen notifications to play that. I'd just join a lobby and I'd play. I'd choose the game mode I wanted and I'd play it. Didn't know anybody else that had it on PC. So I didn't need any of that stuff. And I still don't. So if it's there, cool for the people that want it. I use Miiverse every day via the phone here. So let me just make sure it doesn't have my info here on my sign-in. The only thing about this, the mobile version of Miiverse, I got all kinds of notifications. It ain't going to show up. But these are all new. I got 8 notifications. I check it all the time. And I guess PlayStation Now has something. But I forget. Terrell said he tried it. I check Miiverse every day. And when I get on my Wii U, I have a back and forth message going on with Anya from Germany. It's the only way we communicate. Yeah, that's really the only real messaging I do. There's a few other people every once in a while drop me a message on there. I don't think it was ever intended as a, hey, come play online messaging system. And yeah, they could improve the messaging system. I'm not going to say they couldn't. But to me, it wouldn't be for the online aspects because, again, every time I turn my Wii U on, I check my messages. And sometimes that's every day. Sometimes there's 3 days in between. So, but yeah, if the Miiverse on my phone could show me the private messages and stuff, it'd be cool. So, anyway, not just Nintendo fan who's just blind to everything. I've had everything, had gold. The PlayStation 3s, I don't think was any better than the Wii U's, other than it had the majority of the games. It had a lot of the support, but it wasn't OS level. It was all in every game. And speaking of, this is the last thing. I'm going to move on to the spec stuff. Damn, I just lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, I see a lot of complaints about the Wii U's online, and it's almost always Smash Brothers. Sometimes it's Pokken Tournament. I can't remember the last time I'd seen somebody complain about Mario Kart 8, even though there was an issue with the tournament last night. Somebody couldn't get in, even though no one else had the problem. All the complaints. I should be able to set up a custom lobby in Smash Brothers for 2 stocks, and anyone can join, no items, and be more of a free-for-all, and I could search for custom lobbies. Pokken Tournament, there's got to be a lot of things added, like a tournament feature. Smash Brothers, there should be a tournament bracket system. None of that has anything to do with the Wii U's OS as far as the online on an OS level. That's all software level. Almost everything someone asks for, complains about, that's missing from Smash Brothers is software level. All they have to do is do what Splatoon does. There's custom lobbies in Splatoon. There's private lobbies, I should say. There is squads. There's friend squads. There's, I wouldn't change, honestly, if Splatoon 2 was being developed and for the Switch, I wouldn't change anything about how you get into matches. I would change a few of the small details, like I could, in between matches, I could change my class, stuff like that, but I wouldn't change anything about it. If I want to just play, and if someone sees me in their friends list, they can join me, maybe add spectating if give them something to do. Or, maybe two people could join Turf War together. I don't know why you would, always be on the same team or something. I guess that's another thing, but that's software level. It doesn't have anything to do with the console. That's all based on the game. The only thing that's console related or OS level would be the on-screen notifications. And I don't know how game invites would be system-based. It would be software-based. It was, maybe they could make it required for any online game to have these certain things. But as far as on the hardware side, the OS level, you can make the servers, the netcode, everything better, but it's all on the software side. Smash Brothers could have a lot of that stuff on the Wii U and it wouldn't be a problem. They just didn't feel they wanted to do it. So, and the last thing, it doesn't matter how many features the Switch has. It could have Xbox Live Gold Plus. Like, it could be better in every way as far as all these features, all these things you want. And it doesn't matter if the other person you're gaming with has a terrible internet connection, has slow internet, has, like, when it's a winter storm here in Michigan, sometimes my internet just slows down. It doesn't matter how many features there are, how powerful the system is, you're still relying on the other person's internet connection. Smash Brothers has nothing to do with the Wii U and anything like that, other than you can't say, hey, I don't want to play with somebody with bad internet. They could add, I guess they could add that. That would be another software feature. It would not be an OS feature. But you're always going to be, your weakest link is going to be whoever has the worst internet. So one night we were playing, Robert, myself, Meza T, and Terrell. And for whatever reason, Robert's Wii U and his router were just not talking, and he just was causing so much lag. Finally, he turned off his system, reset his stuff, came back on, and it was perfect. So he was the weak link. He ruined it for everyone else for 3, 4, 5 matches. And once he went, restarted his system, everything was fine. So it's always going to be, you're always going to be ruined by somebody with a bad internet. Play Call of Duty, play Battlefield, dedicated servers and all that. There's still people jumping laggy all over the match. You just can't avoid it. The biggest weakness with the Wii U is that it doesn't have an Ethernet port. So you could blame the hardware for that, because a lot of people just relying on Wi-Fi because they don't want to buy the adapter. They maybe don't know it even exists. And so they're, whatever Wi-Fi they can get, that's what they get. So yeah, that is hardware level Wii U. But thinking about the Switch and how you can quickly just remove it, I'm very skeptical there will be an Ethernet port in the dock, because what do you do when it's a wired connection and you pick your Switch up while you're playing online? I really think the Switch is going to be Wi-Fi only. So, I'm going to give more thoughts on that in the on January 9th in our podcast, where we're going to give all our predictions and thoughts before the Switch event. But yeah, Gamer Talk 8, Mario Kart, and Splatoon run amazing. And they have all the features. Like Mario Kart 8, there's a few little tweaks to the tournament setups and stuff. But if I'm playing, my friend wants to join me, it's, other than if you have too many friends, sometimes you have to scroll down. It should have the people online at the top. I think it used to, but it doesn't seem to work that way. And he joins and then spectates until there's room. I mean, what else can you do? Oh, I'm going to send him a game invite. You still got to come in and spectate until there's room, and nothing changes. So I wouldn't really change anything about how that's structured. But anyway, that's enough about that. And again, I'm going to revert to the statement I made for people that jumped on live watching this. I gave a official statement on my stance on online features and their importance to me. So you can check that on the replay or whatever. All right, next up, we're going to talk about the Switch leaked specs or Digital Foundry's analysis of specs. I'm going to give a shout out to Shadow Fox Infinite. He just did a very tech heavy video, like 51 minutes. I understood most of it, and he made some really good points and just proves that there's just a lot of people that don't know a lot about this stuff, and they're still talking. Like I don't know that much about it, and I've talked about it, but let me just ask this: what were the clock speeds for the PlayStation 1, N64 era? What were the clock speeds for the PS2, the Xbox, the GameCube before the systems when they were shown? Was anybody thinking about the clock speeds? I don't remember that. Honestly, don't remember even hearing about clock speeds until the Wii U was getting trashed, and even then, I still didn't know what they were. And it's probably going to be quickly forgotten. But the point is, no one cared about that shit back then. No one worried about clock speeds and raw, the raw power. There was an era where it was like, oh, I can push them this many polygons per second, and like Shadow Fox said, Sony would boast their max number of polygons with no textures, whatever it was, 60 million polygons per second, zero textures, zero lighting effects, zero any kind of effects, and they would pretty much just BS their system to make it sound so powerful. And then the PlayStation 2 was significantly weaker than the other ones, but they boasted all this stuff. So it was a different version of this, but the point is no one really cared. And I got to give a shout out to OJ. I was going to say this. I had this planned all week, and he beat me to it. It's all about the eye test. When you see the games, you're going to know. All right, wow. You're going to be wowed or you're not. You're going to be like, wow, this system, damn, I can see the leap over the Wii U, that looks incredible. That's what's going to matter. Seeing the games, direct feed footage, maybe playing them. Certain people that I know that might be playing the system a few days after the reveal or the event, and that's when you'll know. And maybe this stems from the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One games didn't pass the eye test. You remember all the people saying, well, where's the difference? I don't see that, I really don't see the difference. Well, a lot of those games were ports of Xbox 360 and PS3, because if you remember, The Last of Us came out in 2013. The PS4 launched in 2013. And was it Grand Theft Auto 5? That came out in 2013, like 2 months before Xbox One and PS4, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that came out the same year as Pikmin and Rayman Legends. So those generations were still going strong. So a lot of the PS4, Xbox One launch titles were ports of those games. So the eye test wasn't that big, just like the Xbox 360. A lot of those were ports or games converted last minute, because the 360 came out only 4 years after the original Xbox. So maybe those games not passing the eye test is why everyone's got this new obsession with specs and judging a system based off. I mean, we're talking we're just talking clock speeds, and a few other bits of information. Shadow Fox points out that Digital Foundry even says there's so much unknown about these custom things, and who cares anyway? Like I said, it's the eye test. Let's see the games, and then you'll know. You'll know if Mario Kart 9 looks just like Mario Kart 8. I'm gonna be like, there's something not right here. The system basically is a Wii U again, So we'll see. I don't expect that to happen. And then the other thing, the clock speeds came out and people were just freaking out, panicking. The haters were jumping, they were laughing all the way to the bank there, and just, like they're like fish in a barrel. And then, just the super hardcore Nintendo guys, some might think I'm that, but would defend that. And then you got the people in the middle just saying, they're shifting their focus. Well, the thing's not powerful. Maybe, well, it's going to have online features though. you know, kind of shifting their hopes and dreams onto something else. And then the next day we got Unreal Engine 4, you know, default settings, and it's like medium settings if anyone's played on a PC, and then the PS4 would be like high. And I don't know about you, but lately the medium and high and ultra settings are almost indistinguishable to me. A lot of the things that turn off are like way in the background or shadow detail and stuff like that. So then people got excited again. Hey, you know, Unreal Engine 4, it's used in a lot of games. And this, you know, anybody could have typed up this computer code looking document, and all of a sudden everybody's happy again. So again, let's wait and see the games. The eye test will tell us. And then another thing I want to talk about is a lot of the PC guys are NVIDIA. You know, the AMD is like AMD is almost like Nintendo, and NVIDIA is like Sony and Microsoft. It's almost very similar. NVIDIA's the king. There's no question about it. And, you know, AMD's had to lose a lot of money. And so they're not like Nintendo in that way, but they're almost like Microsoft. Like they're throwing money at the problem. They've basically gave away their GPUs to the PS4 and Xbox One just to have some income and, you know, reason to manufacture chips and stuff. And their cards really have dropped. But then they put a lot of money investment in their new line. The 480, the 470, 460 are very efficient. They seem to be pretty good graphics cards. But anyway, this is NVIDIA. This is the king. This is, you know, they're the top. They're working together with Nintendo. And a lot of people might disagree with this, but I've always said Nintendo, whether you agree with, well, they're always behind the times, this and that. Nintendo is very tech savvy. They know what they're doing. It's not like they're stupid. They don't know what a powerful system what it would be and what specs it would need for it to be powerful. They choose not to make a powerful system. They choose to put efficiency and other things, and but then they get the most out of what they have. They're the best at getting the most bang for your buck as far as a game console and getting the most graphics. Super Mario Galaxy 2, especially. Look at footage of that game in 480p. That the system had 88 megabytes of RAM. 88, not 800, you know, 88 megabytes of RAM. And the Xbox 360 had 512. Just think about that. Call of Duty ran on the Wii. It was 30 frames per second, but it was, you know, the game. It was the exact same game minus the kill cams and some of the chopper kill streaks. But they got a game that required 512 megabytes of RAM running on the Wii that has 88 megabytes of RAM. So the Switch is going to be, I mean, basically an Xbox One. It's very similar, just, you know, without really knowing all the details. It looks to like it's probably going to be right around the same type of power, and if a little bit less. It's so minor. So the games and getting into third parties, the games will be fine. You know, it's going to be one of those, well, this, you know, look at the shadow detail here. Look at the, it'd be like Final Fantasy 15 on Xbox One and PS4. The lower resolution, I think, on the Xbox One version, but it runs just as good frame rate, and it's still a good looking game. I'm just reading a comment. So the Wii or the Switch is going to be something similar to that, and you know, is that going to matter to you that much? If you care that much about that kind of stuff, then just game on the PC. Other than Final Fantasy 15 is not on PC yet, but you know, if you care that much, then I mean, why even playing a Nintendo system? So, and what about all the praise from these developers, these publishers that people were so excited for? All of a sudden, that's gone. Like they knew these specs, they knew the specs then when they were praising it, and they've obviously seen the game. Well, who was it? I'm trying to think if it was Bethesda or 2K, whoever. He said it was the best demo he's ever seen. So that passed the eye test. And that's, I think, very important. And NVIDIA plus Nintendo, I mean, in my mind, I don't know how people aren't more excited just on that premise. So we'll see. And this is, this is Nintendo. So the people that were expecting PS4 Pro power were disappointed. And so they switched their hopes and, their, I guess, bragging rights or whatever to now it's online features. Now they're hoping for online features. And this is my final thoughts here. So you say you're a Nintendo fan, you love Nintendo, but first you were expecting them to have a PS4 Pro powered system. That tells me you didn't listen to Reggie saying they don't care about specs, and you don't know Nintendo, because since the GameCube, they haven't really even worried about that. That's not their approach. So again, fool me once, not again, but fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You won't fool me a third time. That's where I am. I saw the Wii. Okay, that was a pretty big blow, that it was only that much more powerful, but they got really the most out of it. The Wii U was a huge jump, and over the Wii, but it was on par with Xbox 360. So why were you expecting them to go that much further? And again, the Switch, and watch Shadow Fox's video with the Maxwell. That's a fairly modern architecture with all the custom things. This thing could potentially still be right there with PS4 as far when it's docked. I mean, we don't know, but this is all, talking speculative at this point. But still, you really expect Nintendo to go and try to be the front runner in power. I don't care that it's been 3 years. It's just, that's not Nintendo's approach. So you don't know Nintendo as much as maybe you think there. And then because when you found out it wasn't as powerful, you've moved the goalpost to online features. Again, this is Nintendo. What are they known for? Now you could say, well, they made the partnership with DNA and everything. I should expect it to be all the features that are out available right now in other systems. And maybe that's not the most unrealistic goal, but still, I say to you, this is Nintendo we're talking about. Don't be surprised if the system's Wi-Fi only. Don't be surprised if Mario Kart 9 has basically the exact same online feature set. I mean, I'm not saying it will, just saying don't be surprised. So for me, those are two things I know that Nintendo doesn't excel at, I guess, or doesn't strive for. And maybe with the sales of Mario Kart and Splatoon and Smash, maybe they've realized. But again, I'm not going to sit there and get all super pumped and expect this. And, especially for me, someone, like I said earlier in the beginning of the video, that's the kind of stuff that doesn't really decide if I'm going to want a system or not. It really has no bearing. But again, I'm not going to expect it. But if it's there, cool. I do think they're going to be much improved over the Wii U and a lot of online aspects. We'll see. And I had one more. Oh, yeah. And just talking about, I forgot to mention with the online stuff. Call of Duty Black Ops 2, Call of Duty Ghosts, and someone said Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. They all have voice chat, and they all have a pretty robust online system. Both Call of Duties had on-screen notifications, game invites, voice chat. You could send friend requests. You could do all that from the game. It was all software level. And how many of you bought and played those games? What'd they have, like 300,000 sold? Like, those had every feature that you guys have been asking for other than cross game chat. And I don't know how many of you actually used it. So I tried it recently again, and on Xbox 360 back in 2013, I played GTA 5 online when that came out. The voice chat was way worse than I remembered. The quality, I don't know if Xbox One's any better, PS4, The Wii U game, Call of Duty voice chat was really terrible. I'm so used to Google Hangouts now, like I couldn't go back. It's so crisp and clear. It's so easy to use. I got a laptop just for it, like just for Google Hangouts, not for the Wii U specifically, but just chatting with people. And I can, don't have to be sitting here in the basement the whole time. And I've used it while playing 3DS. I've used it while playing Wii U. I've used it while playing PC, not online, but I've used Google Hangouts to chat with guys while playing for that social aspect. It's always there. So yeah, that's kind of my final thoughts. I have been playing Shantae and the Half Genie Hero. I've posted some on Miiverse. I posted on Twitter, almost to the end. It's a pretty short game. I'll give my thoughts and impressions. There's going to be a podcast on the day after Christmas. It's going to be earlier, sometime after between 5 and 6 p.m. Eastern time. Got to get that done because my Detroit Lions have a Monday night game, big Monday night game for the football people that watch football, and we want to have that done before then. Yeah, so hopefully this cleared some stuff up. Hopefully people believe me again. Like I said, I have that statement in the beginning just as a reference. I mean, you either believe a person or you don't. And if they have a different opinion, just let them have a different opinion. I don't know why we're back to this. It's feeling like April 2015 with Splatoon no voice chat. So, and the next like I said, the next podcast will be the day after Christmas, probably 5:30, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And yeah, so we'll see you then. Next week, I'll do another Juice Opinions. I'm probably going to do, it's going to be, depending on what we talk about in the podcast, it's going to have something to do with some of the games I've been playing that didn't release in 2016 that I started playing in 2016. Maybe we'll talk about that on the podcast. Maybe it'll be my Juice Opinions. So until next time, everybody have a Merry Christmas, and I'll talk to you before the new year. So, all right, or happy holidays, I should say, to everyone out there.